sector in the lead, and among the IT sector, TCS. That's the talking point, isn't it?
Well, yes, they have announced the record date for the much awaited buyback of around 17,000 crore rupees. Now, the record date for the buyback is November 25th, but that is a Saturday, which means that for anyone to be eligible for this buyback needs to have TCS shares on their account by Friday, that is November 24th. And for that, they need to buy the shares of TCS on November 23rd, which means that Thursday, that is November 23rd, would be the last day for any investor to buy TCS shares to be eligible to be participate in the buyback of 17,000 crore that the company had announced. Now, the buyback price of 4,150 was at a 22% premium to yesterday's closing price, and the buyback total quantum that they want to buy back is around 4.1 crore shares. Now, for retail shareholders, as per the rules, nearly 15% of the buyback size has been reserved for the retail shareholders, that is nearly 61 lakh shares. And for anyone to be eligible to be called as a retail shareholder, they need to own shares of worth less than 2 lakh rupees of TCS, which means that around 58 or less number of shares that any shareholder owns on TCS would be called as a retail shareholder and will participate in this buyback in the retail shareholder criteria. Now, they have TCS has done nearly 4 buybacks so far. In the first 3 buyback, if you see, the retail acceptance ratio was 100%, but in the last buyback, due to higher participation from the retail side, the acceptance ratio of retail came down to just 23.7%. Now, if similar kind of situation happens in this buyback also, which means that there is higher participation from the retail side, then the acceptance ratio could come down. And if we assume a 25% retail acceptance ratio, then actually this means that if you have applied around 100 shares for buyback, only 25 shares will be bought back, which means that your gains will also be limited. Currently, what you're seeing, the 22% premium, which is the buyback price, actually for an investor, for a retail investor, if the acceptance ratio stands at 25%, the gains would be just 5.5%, and that too over a period of 2 to 3 months. So, though the buyback price is at a premium of 22%, the actual gains for a retail shareholder would just be 5.5%, and lower the acceptance ratio, lower would be the gain for the retail shareholders.
All right, so those are the details coming in for the TCS buyback. What should you do? Should you go ahead and tender your shares in the buyback, or what's the prospect coming in for the TCS on the charts? Let's connect with our guest today to understand much better as to what should your strategy be when it actually comes to TCS as well as the IT sector as a whole. And let's bring on board our guest for today. We have Kunal, Bothra as well as Ashish Maheshwari who are joining us on the show. Very good morning to you, Kunal, as well as Ashish. Thank you so much for joining us on ET Now. And Kunal, let me first come to you and ask you, what should what should investors do who are already invested in TCS? How are the charts looking for this particular counter? Do you think that it makes sense to stay put with this counter, or do you think that there are better alternatives when it comes to the IT pack, given the fact that you have mid-cap IT also to look at once?
So good morning, Cheryl. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, I think in terms of alternatives, of course, you'll have better alternatives, because if you park, the funds into more of the high beta pocket within the IT pack, that's the mid-cap IT names, then the alpha generated over there could be significantly high. But again, that doesn't take away the kind of breakouts which you are potentially expecting for many of these large cap IT names. Now, what matters is the global construct. Of course, the global markets, specifically Nasdaq, looking quite strong and heading towards a breakout, I think is probably adding towards the boost of sentiments for the large cap IT names. The risk reward for entering the large cap IT stocks at current levels is very attractive. So, of course, buyback is an event which a special situation which plays out onto the stock price trend. But then when the global construct as well as the bigger chart perspective is positive, we would just expect that post a special event, the stock may perform exceptionally well. So I think it's a good time to try and start investing, or at least looking at a major investment into the large cap IT stocks.
Okay, and Ashish, how do you see this buyback play out? And also, we wanted your view on Tata Tech IPO, which has come out. They have announced the price band at 475-500 rupees. How do you see the TCS buyback and also the Tata Tech IPO?
Yes, as far as TCS buyback is concerned, I think only 60 lakh odd shares will go in buyback as far as retail domain is concerned. So I'm not that gung-ho as such, because ultimately you will tender share today and you will get money after some time. And vis-a-vis the kind of opportunities which are there in market nowadays in IT pack or any other pack, I think if you ask me, the risk return ratio doesn't suit that you buy today and just for the sake of tendering shares in TCS buyback. So, in my view, like at 3466, doesn't make sense to buy this stock for just tendering into the buyback offer. As far as Tata Technologies IPO is concerned, I think this is the most awaited IPO for quite some time. And if you listen to what sources in grey market are saying, almost 200 rupees plus premium people are talking about in this post listing also. So this will be surely a company to watch, Tata Technology, and it's apply for sure in my view in this forthcoming IPO.
All right, so that's the view coming in from Ashish on TCS as well as Tata Tech IPO, where he's saying that you should look to invest in at least the Tata Tech IPO. But on that